I'm Jason Stephenson and welcome to Tiny Daily Kick. Just last weekend I was standing in a bakery waiting in line while I was in Adelaide. And it was nothing special. It was a fairly short line and of course you could smell the fresh bread. And there was a woman ahead of me and she was choosing various meat pies. This shop had a lot of wonderful meat pies. And she was hesitating. She kind of smiled awkwardly to me and explained herself to the cashier, and then she apologized to me for taking too much time. Now, no one was rushing her, no one was annoyed, I wasn't annoyed, and no one else behind me was annoyed. Nothing needed explaining. And I noticed it because I recognized it even in myself. That quiet pressure to justify your presence. That reflex to be pleasant enough, easy enough, worth the space you're taking. Life wasn't asking anything of her in that moment. It was simply unfolding as it does. And this is something we forget. Life isn't a stage. It's a shared space. And participation looks like showing up where you are, as you are, without commentary. It looks like ordering the bread. It looks like sitting in the chair. It looks like walking through the door and letting that moment meet you. But a lot of people carry an invisible job description throughout their day. I'm putting my hand up, and I sometimes do this still. Be interesting, be agreeable, be impressive, be emotionally a good person. That job doesn't exist. It was never assigned. It formed quietly over time through habit, social learning, and survival. Many of us learned early that smooth interactions felt safer. Approval felt stabilizing. Being easy reduced friction. So the nervous system adapted. And modern neuroscience explains this clearly because the brain constantly scans for social threat. Evaluation activates the same stress circuitry as physical danger. The amygdala doesn't separate embarrassment from risk. It responds to both as signals that require management. So performance becomes a regulation strategy. If I manage how I appear, I stay safe. If I manage how I'm perceived, I stay connected. And this is not weakness, this is intelligence at work. But intelligence can be updated. Participation tells the nervous system something new. It says, I'm allowed to be here without adjustment. It can say, I can occupy this space without earning it. It also says, I can move through this moment without narrating myself. See, that message calms the system. There was a study published in Psychological Science showing that people consistently overestimate how much others notice their behavior, their mistakes, or their hesitation. And researchers call this the spotlight effect. We feel illuminated, but in reality, most people are absorbed in their own internal experiences. Now, I know knowing this doesn't fix everything, but it does soften the grip. Participation doesn't ask you to become confident, it asks you to become present. And presence is simple. At the airport, participation is standing in line and letting the line move. In a hospital waiting room, participation is sitting with the uncertainty and breathing. In a conversation, participation is listening without planning your next line. You don't need to optimize yourself to belong. You already belong because you are here. There is a quote often attributed to Ram Dass, who I love dearly, and this captures this plainly. We're all just walking each other home. No performance implied, just shared movement. Participation allows your energy to stay where your body is. Performance pulls energy upward into monitoring, correcting, adjusting. You feel the difference? Performance tightens the chest. Participation settles the shoulders. Performance speeds the mind. Participation steadies the breath. This is not a technique, it's a permission. Today, notice where you're trying to be good enough instead of simply being present. Notice where you explain when no explanation is required. Notice where you smile to smooth space that is already safe. Notice where you hold yourself like you're being assessed. Then, ease the grip. Let the moment hold itself. Participation doesn't mean disengaging, it just means arriving fully without self-management. You don't need to bring more to life. You need to stop carrying the idea that you must. Life responds beautifully to honest presence. It always has. Until next time, I'm Jason Stephenson. Imagine boldly, then go out and live it.